The night falls slowly over Genoa city, wrapping the streets in shadows and secrets. It's the kind of night where every conversation feels heavier, every decision feels dangerous, and every heartbeat seems to echo with consequences yet to come. At Society, Nate Hastings stands near the window, phone pressed tightly to his ear. His face is tense, his eyes searching the city skyline as Devon Winter's worried voice pours through the line. There's still no word from Lily, no word from Matty, no word from Charlie. Each name feels like a weight on Nate's chest. Devon's voice shakes with frustration and fear. Every unanswered call makes the situation more terrifying. Nate tries to steady him, offering reassurance he isn't fully convinced by himself. When the call finally ends, silence crashes down around him. Nate stares at his phone, knowing something is wrong, deeply wrong. Moments later, Victoria Newman enters Society with quiet authority. Her presence shifts the atmosphere instantly. She joins Nate at the bar, ordering a drink she barely touches. Her mind is elsewhere, locked onto her father, her family legacy, and the battle for Newman Enterprises. "I want to be the one who puts the company back in my father's hands," she says softly but firmly. There's fire in her voice, a hunger, a need to reclaim what she feels slipping away. Adam Newman has become Victor's new confidant. His return has shaken everything. And for Victoria, that feels like betrayal, not just of power, but of history. She confesses that she wants her place back at Victor's side. She wants to be the one he trusts again. She wants to be his right hand. Nate listens, then gently offers her a safety net, a contingency plan if things don't go the way she hopes. He tells her she'll survive no matter what, that her future doesn't depend on Victor's approval alone. Then he admits something far more personal. He tells her he cares about her, not about her power, not about her last name, about her. The world seems to pause. City lights flicker. Music fades into the background. Outside, beneath the cool night air, Nate steps closer and pulls Victoria into a kiss, deep, emotional, and filled with everything they haven't said aloud. For a moment, ambition disappears and only feeling remains. But even as they part, Victoria's eyes reveal conflict. Love and power are pulling her in opposite directions. Across town at Crimson Lights, soft guitar music fills the cafe as Tessa Porter places an instrument into Daniel Romalotti Jr.'s hands. She's trying to distract him from the pain surrounding Mariah Copeland, hoping music can give him a moment of peace. Daniel strums a few notes. The melody is gentle, the moment fragile. Then the door bursts open. Phyllis Summers storms inside like a thunderstorm. Her eyes lock onto Daniel instantly. "I will never forgive you," she snaps, voice shaking with rage. "You turned my daughter against me." The music dies. Phyllis unleashes everything she's been holding inside about Summer, about Milan, about how her own daughter wouldn't even open the door for her. Rejection burns in her words. Daniel fires back that Phyllis only has herself to blame, that her actions destroyed her relationship with Summer. But Phyllis refuses to accept it. She accuses Daniel and Nick Newman of filling Summer's head with lies, of creating their own narrative and poisoning her daughter against her. Daniel denies sabotaging anything. He says the truth finally caught up to her. Phyllis explodes. She insists Summer would be celebrating her victory if Daniel and Nick hadn't interfered. Then Daniel brings up the kidnapping, Lily and her children taken because of Phyllis's reckless decisions. Phyllis snaps again. She refuses responsibility. She insists Kane Ashby's family is fine. She claims she did nothing wrong. The tension is unbearable. Finally, Daniel says the words that shatter everything. "I'm done with you," Phyllis freezes. "Are you really shutting me out of your life forever?" she asks quietly. Forever is a long time, but Daniel doesn't answer. He walks out with Tessa, leaving Phyllis behind with nothing but her anger, regret, and a painful confrontation waiting with Sharon Newman. Sharon approaches cautiously. Their history hangs between them like smoke. "You look like you lost everything," Sharon says. Phyllis lashes out, but her voice cracks. For a brief moment, two broken women stand face to face, both wounded, both proud, neither willing to surrender. Phyllis storms out into the night, swearing to fight for what's hers, no matter who she has to burn along the way. At the GCAC, Jack Abbott taunts Victor Newman over his forced retirement, smirking as he joins Diane at the bar. Nearby, Nikki sits with Victor, questioning him about his mysterious trip. Victor hints that he's offered Kane Ashby incentives and that Lily has been informed. He assures Nikki that the Newman empire will rise again. They toast, but Diane watches with concern. Jack brushes it off, convinced Victor is putting on a performance. Later, Diane confronts Nikki in the ladies' room, warning her to stay away from Jack. Nikki insists they share a special bond. Diane accuses her of playing damsel in distress. Nikki counters that Diane is threatened. The tension is sharp and personal. Then Victor receives a phone call. His face changes instantly. Confidence drains away. He rushes out with Nikki. Jack assumes Victor got bad news and gloats that his facade is already crumbling. But the truth is far darker. At the Newman Ranch, Nick waits as Victor and Nikki return home. Victor delivers the news. The judge has thrown out Matt Clark's case. The detective was compromised. Matt Clark is free. The words hit like a gunshot. Nick's fury erupts. "This isn't justice," he says. "This is failure." Victor admits it's not over, but Nick has already crossed a line. If the system won't stop him, Nick says, "I will." Nikki pleads with him. Victor watches silently, knowing what that fire means. Nick steps outside into the darkness, staring beyond the gates. Matt Clark is out there, free. Nick's jaw tightens. "This isn't over," he whispers. Inside, Victor watches his son, knowing a war has begun. As Genoa City drifts toward dawn, alliances shift, hearts break, power changes hands. A single court decision unleashes a chain reaction that no one can stop. Love collides with ambition. Justice blurs into revenge, and the city braces for the storm ahead, because in Genoa City, freedom is never the end of the story. It is only the beginning of the war. As dawn slowly creeps over Genoa City, the shadows of the night refuse to disappear. Instead, they stretch longer, thicker, with secrets, anger, and the quiet promise of chaos. At the Newman Ranch, Nick still stands outside, the cold morning air cutting into his skin, but he doesn't move. His thoughts are racing faster than his heartbeat. Matt Clark's freedom feels like a personal betrayal. Every instinct inside him screams that this isn't the end. It's the beginning of something far more dangerous. Victor joins him on the terrace, his footsteps heavy with experience and warning. "You can't let this consume you," Victor says quietly. Nick doesn't turn. It already has. There's a long pause between them. Father and son standing on opposite sides of the same fire. Victor knows that look. He's worn it himself too many times in his life. "Revenge destroys everything it touches," Victor adds. Nick finally faces him. So does letting monsters walk free. Their eyes lock. Power, pride, fear, love. Everything collides in that single moment. Inside the house, Nikki watches from the doorway, her heart sinking. She sees history repeating itself, another Newman man preparing to go to war, another soul standing on the edge of a cliff. Across town, Phyllis storms through the empty streets, her heels echoing like gunshots against the pavement. Every step is fueled by rage and heartbreak. Daniel's words still cut into her chest. "I'm done with you." She whispers it to herself, tasting the bitterness. Forever is a long time. For the first time, Phyllis feels truly alone. No Summer, no Daniel, no one to fight beside her, only enemies on every side. But Phyllis Summers has never been a woman who collapses quietly. She pulls out her phone and scrolls through her contacts, stopping on one name, Nick. Her eyes narrow. "If they want war," she murmurs, "I'll give them war." Meanwhile, at Society, Victoria arrives early the next morning. The restaurant is nearly empty, sunlight spilling across polished tables. Nate joins her moments later. The energy between them is different now, Quieter, heavier, more complicated. I didn't sleep, Victoria admits. Me neither, Nate says. They talk about Adam, about Victor, about the company, about how power can poison everything it touches. Nate reminds her again that she doesn't need to win her father's approval to be whole. Victoria listens, but her heart isn't ready to surrender the fight. I've spent my life proving myself, she says. I won't stop now. Nate reaches for her hand. Just don't lose yourself doing it. She nods, but her eyes betray her. She's already halfway across the battlefield. At crimson lights, Sharon wipes down the counter, replaying her tense exchange with Phyllis in her mind. She knows that look, the look of someone cornered and dangerous. Tessa and Daniel sit quietly at a small table. Daniel stares into his coffee, exhausted. I didn't want it to end like that, he admits. But it had to, Tessa says gently. You can't keep bleeding for someone who won't stop hurting you. Daniel nods, though his heart isn't convinced. Phyllis may be toxic, but she's still his mother. The door opens again. Phyllis steps inside. The room freezes. Her eyes find Daniel instantly. Can we talk? She asks, her voice stripped of its fury for the first time. Daniel stands slowly. I don't know if we can. Phyllis swallows hard. I don't want to lose you. For a moment, the anger melts away, revealing something raw and human beneath it. But then Sharon steps closer. Sometimes loving someone means letting them go, Sharon says softly. Phyllis's eyes blaze. Stay out of this. The fragile peace shatters. Phyllis turns back to Daniel. You think they're your family now? Nick? Sharon? They'll turn on you too. They always do. Daniel shakes his head. This is why I'm walking away. And once again, he does. Phyllis stands frozen in the middle of the cafe as the door closes behind him. Something inside her breaks. Something darker takes its place. At the GCAC, Jack and Diane meet again, but the victory Jack thought he tasted the night before has turned sour. Victor left like he saw a ghost, Diane says. Jack shrugs. Let him panic. But Diane's instincts won't let her relax. What if it's worse than we think? Jack pauses. Even he feels it now. That shift in the air. When Victor retreats, he doesn't lose. He plans. Back at the Newman Ranch, Victor sits alone in his study, staring at the fire. His phone buzzes with incoming messages, corporate updates, legal alerts, whispered warnings. One name flashes on the screen again. Matt Clark. Victor closes his eyes. This man won't stop, he murmurs. And neither will Nick. The family is splitting into camps. Trust is eroding. Love is being tested, and one reckless court decision has set every piece into motion. Across Genoa City, each character stands at the edge of their own storm. Victoria fights for power and identity. Nick prepares for revenge. Phyllis readies herself for war. Daniel walks away from his past. Victor sharpens his strategy, and the truth hides in the shadows. As the sun rises fully over the city, the calm feels false, like the quiet before a violent thunderstorm. Because in Genoa City, justice is fragile, love is dangerous, and freedom comes with a price. And now, that price is about to be paid.